Hello, math fans. All right, this is day 4. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the definition of trig functions. So let me actually get rid of this little writing here because I'm going to need to write a lot. This is the definition of trig functions. Okay, first of all, we're going to draw our xy coordinate plane here, and we're going to draw an angle. Okay, and this point right here has an xy coordinate. So that means that's an x, and that's a y value, y distance. And we're going to call this r. This is like the radius. Okay, so that's the radius here. And this angle here is theta. Okay, so a couple things here. First of all, let's just use a little Pythagorean theorem. This is, of course, a right triangle here. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay, r is always going to be greater than 0. Has to be greater than 0, otherwise it's going to be a point on the origin. It makes sense, right? It's got to be greater than 0. And r is not going to be a negative value. So x and y can be positive, negative, or it can be 0. All right, so that's pretty important. Okay, so let's actually these are our trig functions here now. This is actually huge. Trig functions. This is so important, and I'm gonna. This is I just can't stress this enough. You need to memorize this. That is so huge. Okay, I'm going to highlight this. You've got to memorize that. All right, the first one is sine of theta is equal to y over r. The cosine of theta is equal to x over r. And the tangent of theta is equal to y over x. Okay? The next functions here are our reciprocal functions. And basically you have, it's called cosecant of theta is equal to the reciprocal, so it's equal to 1 over sine of theta. So it's just going to be r over y. Okay, and then you have the secant of theta is equal to 1 over the cosine of theta. So that's going to be r over x. And then you have the cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over the tangent of theta, or x over y. All right? Got to memorize those. You have to know those. They're really not that difficult. A couple things, the way to memorize this, which I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but this is y over x. Y over x. Ah, very interesting. There comes the yox. I wonder what the yox is. Well, if you are watching this video and you don't see the, if you have not in class and you're watching this video, you definitely need to ask me in class what the yox is. Okay, I'm not going to explain it here now and make the video longer, but the yox is actually very, very important, and we'll talk about that, so ask me. Okay, so that's the yox, and this is x over y. So it's the xy. That's another important thing, too. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you guys some easy ways to remember these, but the yox is for tangent, and the cotangent is the xy. Okay? So this is, again, this is really important to memorize. I unfortunately have to delete this to make room. You know what? I'm going to move it down a little bit. All right, so here's your example. It says, given the terminal point 4, negative 3, find the value, or find the values of all 6 trig functions. All right, so I think a really good thing to do is if you make a quick sketch here, okay, you get 4, -3. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, -3. So I'm going to put a point here. And there's your ray. So what you have here is you have your value of course, x is equal to 4, y equals -3, and r equals, you just use Pythagorean theorem. So 4 squared plus -3 squared and the square root of that, right? So r is equal to, well, this is just, this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, so r is equal to 5. And then you just plug it back into all those friendly little functions we just learned. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the sine of theta, okay, this being theta, and the sine of theta is equal to y over r, so it's -3/5. That's really easy. Cosine of theta equals x over r, so it's 4/5 positive, and the tangent of theta is equal to y over x, or -3/4. And then the other ones are really easy. Cosecant of theta is equal to -5/3. Secant of theta is equal to 5/4. And the cotangent of theta is equal to -4/3. And that's it. Now, sometimes people have a hard time remembering. This is an issue, that sine goes with cosecant. People think sine goes with secant, and cosine goes with cosecant. Okay, the way you got to remember all this stuff, guys, is whenever you're on an airplane, a pilot always needs a co-pilot. Okay, so like right here, sine goes with cosecant, a sine and a co. A cosine goes with a secant, so there's a pilot and a co-pilot, and of course tangent goes with cotangent. That's easy. So a pilot always needs a co-pilot, so you got to remember it that way, and I think that's going to help you out. All right. Okay, let's try one more here, and I'm going to erase this. Okay, so we're going to do, the point is -2√2, comma 1. So that's really not that bad. Again, it's really easy. X equals -2√2, and y equals 1. That's really easy. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, the only thing you need to find here is you need to find the value of r. So we have r equals 2√2, really it's -2√2 squared plus 1 squared, and the square root of that. So r is 2√2 squared is 8 plus 1 square root of that. So it's square root of 9, which is 3. R is 3. So now it's just literally, you plug everything in. So I have sine of theta is equal to y over r, so 1 over 3. Cosine of theta equals x over r, so -2√2 over 3. And tangent of theta is equal to y over x, so it's -1 over 2√2. You rationalize it, definitely, so it's √2 over 4. Multiply the top and bottom by √2 over √2. Okay, that's pretty easy. And then the rest of them are easy, right? Cosecant of theta is equal to the reciprocal, so that's equal to 3. Secant of theta, do the reciprocal of that, and you rationalize it, and you get -3√2 over 4, and you have the cotangent of theta. And actually, as opposed to trying to rationalize this one, this is actually equal to that. As opposed to trying to rationalize this one, well, isn't it this guy right here? Isn't it x over y? So it's just -2√2 over 1, or just -2√2. Sometimes it's easier just to look at the original problem. Okay, and that's it. That's it, math fans. Watch your signs, and just memorize those 6 trig functions. Really, you have to memorize just 3 of them, and then you know the reciprocal is the other 3 functions. All right, that's it, math fans. Have a great day. Goodbye.